Hello and welcome to This Is What Came Out of Me, a series about anything and everything, but mostly movies, TV, books, podcasts and YouTube. I'm SierraKiloBravo. Let's get into it. The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro was released in 2015 and is Ishiguro's 8th and most recent novel. You may not be familiar with his name, but you may recognise the names of two movie adaptations of his previous novels, namely Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go. The Buried Giant is a step away from Ishiguro's usual style in that the setting for this is Arthurian England, and it contains fantasy elements such as dragons and magic. Apart from the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George Martin, I've not read a lot of fantasy. However, my friends recommended The Buried Giant to me and loaned me their copy, so it seemed like a good chance to delve into this genre a little bit more. Ishiguro skillfully creates a dreamlike feeling within the opening few pages while describing the landscape, the inhabitants, and this world that we're dropped into. The story follows two characters, Beatrice and Axel, as they set out from their village to travel across the land to visit their son. Along the way, they meet a number of weird and eccentric folk, of whom not all have their best interests at heart. As the two main characters begin to cross the Great Plain near the start of the story, for some reason it gave me a feeling like that I had when I was reading The Gunslinger, the first book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. You really get a sense of a weird and wide open space. I went into this book completely blind. I didn't read anything about it, not even the blurb on the back cover. It's a very enjoyable book, but be prepared, it is quite weird. And the speech patterns of the characters may begin to grate after a while. The thing that really got me into this book was this. Some people say they are disappointed when they watch a movie based on a book because their love for the book is so strong that they wanted every single tiny detail replicated in the adaptation. Most books, however, are not written that way. I think, though, that if they made a movie based on The Buried Giant, all the details could easily be presented. This is because the descriptions easily allow you to conjure up an image in your head, and the book does not have multiple complex layers. For the most part, it's laid out in a linear fashion with a flashback here and there, all written in an easy to understand way. You really do get caught up in it, and it takes you along on its weird and mysterious course, slowly peeling back the layers, revealing information at just the right junctures to keep you engaged and keen to read on. This all goes well until you reach the end of the book. After spending many pages building the world, fleshing out the characters, and getting all intertwined and wrapped up in what's going to happen to them, at the end, it all just finishes very abruptly and ambiguously. In the last few pages, it flips into either a surreal place or maybe tries to get all allegorical. To be honest, I'm not even sure, as it was, in my opinion, poorly executed. I don't know, maybe after all that investment and the excellent lead-up, I was hoping for a better payoff. But instead, literally within the last 5 pages, it all just seemed to screech to a halt, and I was left scratching my head. Overall, though, it was an enjoyable book, and I'm so glad that I read it. I've got Never Let Me Go in my library too, so I'm looking forward to reading that and comparing styles in due course. So check it out, but be prepared to go for a ride and then get dumped out of the boat at the last minute. If you love last minute handbrake turns that'll leave you with more questions than answers, then The Buried Giant will be right up your alley. That's all for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the show notes for some links to The Buried Giant. Until next time, be excellent to each other. I'm SierraKiloBravo, and this is what came out of me.